Welcome, welcome, welcome. We just come back from a boat trip because we had a POAP boat trip. If you follow us on social media, you know that we were exactly on that boat and there was a big fat logo of Bitcoin in the background while we were sailing. Also, some of us, we lost our hardware wallets, so no taxes this year. The boat trip was available for those that have the POAPs. So you know that I always tell you to collect the POAPs. They are proof of attendance protocols. And jokes on whom? Yes, on you, because this time this was only available for the people that had POAPs or that had the most POAPs. So every week we are publishing the POAPs here. It's a proof that you've been physically here. And we are going to use it later to distribute some rights for voting in the DAO, in the decentralized autonomous organization that we're trying to build. So people that are here actually have a say in what is happening in their very own crypto community. For this is who we are. We are Crypto Hub Malta. It's the blockchain native community to learn and share about blockchain technology. Now, who here is presently attending for the first time today? Up with the hands. Oh, welcome. Welcome to you, and don't be shy. It is very easy to make friends here. I always say this. You say your name. My name is Ferris. My name is Ferris. I am interested in blockchain technology. Boom. Best friends immediately. So don't be shy and make some friends. We are going to hang around at the bar after this presentation. It will last approximately to 9 o'clock. There's going to be a presentation about arbitrage opportunities, and that is the way to money, 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 if you know how to do it. So listen up when Benjamin is going to talk about it, because arbitrage has become a tough game and you need to have some tools and some insight. He is going to share it with you, but before that, I am going to make some boring announcements. Or are they so boring? Because yesterday, Satoshi Nakamoto was spotted in Valletta. Yesterday, of course, April 1st, for all of you that know. I'm sharing this because we published this as the story about the boat trip on our social media. So it would be a pleasure if you like these events and if you attend, just take one moment and give us a thumb up or share the story, or go to Instagram right now and follow us. Join us in the Telegram group. There's a QR code at the end of the bar that you can scan with your phone and join. It's a private invite because we don't make it public, otherwise there would be too much spam and traffic and scammers. So scan it and join us. It costs nothing to participate here, and it would mean the world for us if you do. This is another example that means the world to me personally. This is a review from a kind gentleman who participated on March 5th on one on our free meetups. So this person came in here and left us a 1-star review on meetup.com for a free event. Just like really like putting us like down for no reason. I cannot, I don't know if I have it in me to read it, but it's very nasty. So we opened the door so people can sit here comfortably, and he goes like, it was announced to start at 7, and the organizer, yours sincerely, told me that we only start at 8. It's like, yeah, mister, because if we tell everyone that we start at 7 and we start at 7, nobody is going to be here. It's Malta. Come on. Then the next part is that like he's complaining that it was too cold because we opened the doors. It's like, I'm sorry that it's cold. Like it was maybe like 10 degrees at worst, like maybe 15. I'm really sorry to disappoint you, sir. 1-star review. Look, what you can do, I'm showing this not to shame this person. I also changed the name of the person from the original name to Max something. You can change all of this. If you just take 1 second, you go to meetup.com, you give us an honest review, what you think, like, please don't be so brutal, but like, this is what would change everything. This is on meetup.com. Meetup.com, yes. This is the head by the Porto Maso port that was sponsoring the boat trip. I will leave it here for somebody who wants a nice hat. I'm picking it up because there's one last thing that I will say. A couple of weeks ago, we got officially recognized as an association here in Malta. And that means that anybody who wants, and this is like totally not obligatory. It's really just if you want, you can join us as a member. The membership form is here. It costs €100 per year. And this is really just for the people that want to participate in the community, because then you have actual voting powers, not based on a POAP, but based on the legality of the Maltese legal system. And that means you can vote for the administrators and decide who will make the decisions here in the future. You can join there. It's possible now. We're still working on the fine quirks of the GDPR compliance, but you can basically put down your name, take it home with you, read everything, and then decide if you want to join. It would be so great. Anyway, that was a lot of blah blah by me. I am still excited because I just come from a boat. But now we are going to talk about DeFi and particularly arbitrage opportunities. I was told this is on Solana. It's by a gentleman called Benjamin, who's the co-founder of Circular, the project that is going to present here today. It was founded last year, 2 years ago, last year. But you've been in the space for a long time. So everyone, welcome to Benjamin.
Thanks. Hi everyone. Hello everyone. I'm Ben, the CEO of Circular, and today I will introduce you what is arbitrage. Nice. So, first one, we need to understand what is arbitrage. Arbitrage is a trading strategy to make profits across the different prices. It will be difficult if I can change the slide and be stuck on the first one. Yeah. Okay. So arbitrage is a trading strategy to make profit with the different prices. Okay. So if I take a simple example, if I just buy an apple on shop A for €2 and I sell it instantly on shop B for €3, I just made an arbitrage action. And with this arbitrage action, I just gain as a profit €1. That's the concept of arbitrage. Buying something and trying to sell it instantly on another stock exchange, on another market, or something like that. So, okay, it's reload. Okay, so, all right. So basically, the arbitrage, it's not a new thing. It's an old thing. The first trace of arbitrage was in the 17th century. So at this moment, some firms appear in the Amsterdam Stock Exchange because at this moment, it was the most biggest stock exchange of the world. And so at this moment, some firm strategy, some company strategy appear and starts to detect something. The stock is not on the same price in London, Paris, and Amsterdam. So they start to buy some stock in Paris, in London, to sell it instantly in Amsterdam. That's the first trace of arbitrage. Later, this technique, this strategy, was called the triangular arbitrage or the circular arbitrage. So today, we are going to focus on crypto arbitrage. Why? Because first one, we are in the crypto hub, so we will speak about crypto. In crypto, you have few famous arbitrage strategy. The first one and the most popular is with centralized exchange. So the idea is really simple. On each centralized exchange, you have an order book. You buy a token, an asset, or whatever in one centralized exchange. So in this example, we can buy a token on Binance and try to sell it instantly on Coinbase. That's the centralized exchange arbitrage. The most funny for me is the decentralized exchange arbitrage. That's completely different because there we don't use order book, we use liquidity pool. And that's different because on centralized exchange, you need to make 2 transactions for your arbitrage. You need first one, buy the token on Binance, for example, and sell it then on Coinbase. There, with the decentralized exchange, we need 1 transaction. On the same transaction, I can buy a token on Radium, for example, and sell it instantly on the same transaction on Meteora. That's the decentralized exchange arbitrage. And on the other hand, we have the multi-directional one. Multi-directional is taking both of them and combine it. The first and the main word with this strategy is the coordination. You need to coordinate your both transactions. So for example, if I buy a token on Radium from the liquidity pool, so I need to make a transaction on Solana. So I need to push my transaction to buy this token and sell it instantly on the order book of Binance. If I do that, I make a multi-directional arbitrage. It's more risky, but on the other side, it's also a popular arbitrage type of transaction because you can have like a lot of different rate between the liquidity pool and between the order book. So we will dive a bit and we will focus today on liquidity pools and especially on Solana. So first one, we need to understand one thing about the blockchain. Blockchain is atomic. What means atomic? It's really simple. It's sequentially. So on your transaction, each action, each instruction will be sequential. So executed one by one by one. Okay, we have this one. Now we will focus on the Forex risk. For example, on the Forex, if I want to exchange €1 against dollar, I see on my screen an opportunity. Oh, I can exchange €1 against $1.10. So I will send the transaction, but I have no guarantee, any guarantee to have the right rate. Maybe my transaction will be executed at 1.05. So I lost the opportunity because maybe I'm not the fastest one. And also, I lost money because I don't get the rate I want. Blockchain gives us the possibility to have the slippage. Slippage is the most important word in DeFi. Why? Because slippage is a security. I just take the example of a simple trade. Like I want to exchange 1 Solana against 200 USDC. That's not the current rate, but for example. When I exchange 1 Solana against 200 USDC, I can tell to my transaction if I get less than 200 USDC, my transaction will be failed because it's atomic. At any time during your transaction, you can't cancel it. It's really important because what? Because arbiter use this technology, use the slippage to make 100% profitable transaction. So it's impossible in your transaction, if you set up well your slippage, of course, to lose any token during your transaction. So I will take this example. It's like a typical transaction you can find on Solana. I will exchange 1 Solana against 200 USDC in Radium. And on the same transaction, I will reuse this 200 USDC against 1.5 Solana, but with a different liquidity pool, with the liquidity pool of Meteora. And after, at the end of the this transaction, I get 0.5 Solana as a profit because I make an arbitrage transaction between liquidity pools. So just as an example, and to make an example for the slippage, if in this transaction I get less than 1 Solana, my transaction will be failed. So I lose any token in this transaction, but, and it's the most important, and I need to say that, you pay the gas fees. That's the one thing. So the gas fees is like the amount you need to pay for sending the transaction on the network, because you can't, like the transaction is not free. You need to pay some fees to guarantee your transaction will be on the network and will be safe on Solana. So the thing is, with this data, with like the liquidity pool arbitrage, is it's complicated to track the data because this data is a non-tracked data. So why arbitrage is a non-tracked data? It's because few things. The first one is it's a controversial community opinion. On a side, you have people in the community say it's a bad thing because it's taking a lot of space in the block in general. For me, it's not really a great subject, and we don't need to focus and take care about, because Solana is built to have a lot of transactions per second and the cheapest gas as possible. So in the future, and if we follow like the advance and the progress of Fire Dancer, for example, Solana will be easily, I think, that's my opinion, but easily to reach the millions transactions per second. So for me, we don't really need to care about it. On the other side of the community, understand more well the DeFi, I think, is more focused on the fact like arbitrage is really, really useful for the decentralized finance in general. Why? Because arbiter is a crucial role in the blockchain. Arbitrage is not just making profit; it's stabilize the liquidity pool. So if you have a different rate against like Meteora and Radium, both liquidity pool, you as an arbiter need to stabilize the market to have exactly the same rate. And if a liquidity pool don't have the same rate, you will just rebalance it and get the difference as a profit. That's the role of arbiter, and that's why it's crucial to have arbiter in the blockchain to have a fluid market and fluid liquidity pool for the end user and the normal user to use it. But so you have a controversial opinion in the community, but we need to take care about one thing. At the moment, arbitrage is representing 20% of the Solana volume. It's huge. And that's one of the important things why it's not a tracked data. It's because people think, first one, it's not an interested data. What we can do with arbitrage transaction, just like a lot of transaction for nothing. And also it's volumetric. 20% of the Solana volume. It means it's a lot of transaction. It's 20 to 50 millions of transactions per day. So billions transactions per month. That's a huge, huge quantity of data. But the thing is, for me, it's not not interesting data. It's the purest and the most interesting data across the market and across the DeFi. Why? So we can deduce more accurately the data from a liquidity pool to deduce like the real volume or the real trending tokens with arbitrage. I put like a really simple example. When a real trade appears for a real user, okay, so just before we need to understand what is the problematic in the market at the moment. The problematic is, so if we take the simple example, CoinGecko. CoinGecko every day is fighting against the wash trading. Why? Because if I take this simple example, so I exchange one Solana against 200 USDC. My transaction is counted as $200 volume. It's normal. Now, if I reuse it on the same transaction, 200 USDC against one Solana on the same liquidity pool, so I do nothing. I just make a cycle, but this transaction will be valued at $400 volume. And it's not normal because I just do nothing in my transaction. I just use it and reuse it, but I create no value, I make nothing. If we take care about arbitrage, because if we think about it, like we can use arbitrage to deduce trending token, to deduce the real volume of a liquidity pool. If a real user interact with a liquidity pool, with a real swap, it will unbalance the liquidity pool, as you saw like on the top. And so an arbiter will come to rebalance the pool and to be like, to try to be like as stable as possible the liquidity pool. And so the idea is to don't take care about the normal swap, about the normal transaction, but just take care about the rebalance of the arbitrage. It means what? It means if we just take care about the rebalancing, we get and we can deduce the real volume and the real trendings because we are not affected by the wash trading. That's why, for me, arbitrage is the purest data across the market, but across the DeFi and across the blockchain. So Um, First one. So yeah. So for robot in general in Solana, so people don't use and don't make arbitrage by hand. Everyone use a robot to make arbitrage in Solana. And so, like, just to take this example, you start the arbitrage. So you start to make maybe profit with one robot, and after, what do you want? Of course, you want more robot. You want more a worldwide infrastructure. At the moment, like the global infrastructure is focused on 4 regions, 4 points: Amsterdam, New York, Tokyo, and Frankfurt. Why on these 4 points? It's because you have a congestion, a concentration of node in Solana there. So basically, and I take this simple example, if you take, if you have your whole infrastructure in New York, for example, the current validator, so the guy who creating the current block in Solana is in Tokyo. You will take 300 milliseconds to get the new block. In Solana, each block it's every 400 milliseconds. If you think about the next validator is also in Tokyo, you need to spend 300 milliseconds to get the next block. You spend maybe 10, 20 milliseconds. We count in milliseconds. 10 to 20 milliseconds to interact with the block, try to find the opportunity, and after you need to spend 300 more milliseconds to send your transaction because the next validator is also in Tokyo. That's the thing. The arbiter need to be as fast as possible. And so when you grow, when you start to have a lot of robots, I speak with people who have 80 robots, 80 wallets. It's so huge to manage. It's kind of impossible to track, to manage, and to monitor and change the strategy of your robot if you own 80 robots. It's just impossible. And so that's why, and with this idea of it's not only data, like only not interesting data, but we can do a lot of things with this data. I mean, the arbitrage. We create Circular. Circular.fi is the arbitrage dashboard interface allowing users to track their wallet, to track their tokens, but also to track their transaction. We provide a lot of statistics across the transaction. For example, you can like more accurately understand like how many space your transaction take in the block, or which token you earn the more, or a lot of statistics around it. And so the biggest achievement with Circular, and what we do, it's the migration and the migration of user. What mean? Like before us, no one tracked this data. So everyone tracked their wallets with Google Sheets. When you have 80 wallets, it's kind of impossible. And so with Circular, now you just come, you just put your public key, and that's it. We will start to track your wallet and to show you a dashboard for a lot of visualization. You can also create cluster if you have few wallets and track your whole cluster in the same hub, Circular. At the moment, Circular, we track 20 to 50 millions of transactions per day. We analyze it and we store it. And so yeah, it's huge quantity of data. So it means like billions of transactions for each month. So how we get money, how we like can survive across this huge storage and this huge analyze, because we need to have a lot of server across the world. The infrastructure is split across Amsterdam and New York. We provide some paid API on B2B. What's the most famous API we have? It's trending tokens. We provide trending tokens for arbiter, for traders, or for what you want to do in the DeFi in general. You have access to the trending token in real time. And of course, we base this data on arbitrage. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, so there we didn't update the presentation. Thank you very much, Benjamin. We're gonna have some questions for everyone who's here in a second, because on the boat trip that we had, I was in fact drinking, and I forgot one of the announcements that I wanted to make. A big shout out to CryptoHub Bucharest, because this presentation is being live streamed all across the blockchain and all across the globe. And there's actually a chapter in Bucharest with one of our board members, Damiano, sitting in Bucharest. And we are, yes, he is. There's a group, he sent a picture, and we are going to read up all the questions that they might have. I was told that there are a bunch of quants and geeks that are actually breaking down the formulas that were presented from a former presentation, and I'm sure they have a keen interest in understanding how circular and the tools for arbitration works. But you are, of course, also welcome to ask the questions. Up with the fingers. Last announcement I forgot to make before we go to the Q&A. Of course, we want to thank the people that are supporting us. So if you have any questions about legal advice in regard to crypto or some other serious offenses, no, like mostly crypto, talk to WH Partners. WH Partners is the law firm, the crypto law firm that we trust, and they will help you with all matters of legality. The first consultation is for free. And if you come as a referral from CryptoHub, you get 10% discount. We want to thank Simply Staking. They do blockchain infrastructure. Also for Solana, I think. I didn't know that Solana had like global hubs in Amsterdam and Frankfurt. Crazy. But they are based in Malta, and they actually have servers running here in Malta, which is really cool. And last but not least, of course, the Bit Research. They are doing research for different DeFi protocols. And actually, Circular might be quite interesting if you meet them and talk to them later. I'm sure some of them are here. And it's also interesting for you. Now, I noticed there were some questions for some beginners about public keys and stuff like that. If you have any of those questions, Benjamin will be happy to answer them. So will I. So will any of the more advanced people here at CryptoHub. So if you're sitting here and are a little bit overwhelmed of the presentation, and I understand it's like very advanced stuff. It is very advanced stuff. Huh? Then
I try to vulgarize a lot.
of course, but like if you're in doubt about the fundamentals, come and talk to me, come and talk to Benjamin, or come and talk to anybody here who knows maybe something that you don't know, and I'm sure you also know something that they don't know, and you're gonna be friends. That's the whole idea of CryptoHub. Okay, with that, before we get to emotional questions, there was a question there. I come right with the microphone. Sorry. Whoops. I might also have some question myself, but here's the first question.
Till when we are going to be fixed to the fiat currency?
Sorry?
Till when we are going to be fixed to the fiat currencies?
What do you mean fixed?
Yeah, because all the arbitrage is coming and based on the value of the fiat, which is
Not really, because with liquidity pools, we don't really care about like the fiat or the prices. It's just like mathematics. A liquidity
what
pool,
is the value then?
the value is to stabilize the market.
And the market value is decided by?
Okay, so if you, yeah, at the end of the end, like the liquidity pool is in Solana, for example. If you want like okay, like you have a correlation
I want
with
the
the
revolution.
You want a revolution?
I want that we decide what is the value. It's not $200, it's not 100 euros, it's what we believe is the value.
Okay, so the value basically on this one. So basically, like the main value is to stabilize the market. If you want to have some insight across this market, it's really simple. Last year, arbitrage generate 140 million dollar on Solana. I speak in fiat because you speak to me in fiat.
I'm asking till when we are going to be fixed to fiat.
When we are fixed to fiat, I think I don't really understand the question. Sorry.
It's about the value. We are fixing the value for what we believe it is. So if you are translating the value in dollars or euros, it's It's not the revolution. It's not the point of the blockchain. It's regards to guys to Bucharest. They are the next. After Belgrade, Budapest, Istanbul, Bucharest is the next. We decide the value, not the stock market.
Okay, so
Let me maybe take a question. Very simple. It's going to happen transaction on Bitcoin by transaction, okay? We're going to take them down by transaction. Every transaction is just another drop. It's another step in the fiat currency system. So the revolution is going to happen every time you send some Bitcoin, okay? That's how you do it. Okay, where's the next question? There was a... Okay, you.
Yeah, so my question, thank you for the presentation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. My question goes to, like, for your company, are you providing intelligence on which liquidity pools are being most arbitraged? Like, I'm guessing ETH to USDC or SOL to USDC are going to be the most arbitraged one, but if I want to know which pools are most arbitraged, are you doing some kind of analytics on that sense?
For now, we only provide, we track the liquidity pool, but we don't provide the volume we detect on liquidity pool. We provide on both sides. We provide like the liquidity pool existing on a token, and also we provide the trending token by the arbitrage we detect and the gains generated around and about the arbitrage. So we don't provide for now the volumetric we detect, the real volume of a liquidity pool, but is in to do, and like we will do in the future, like really soon.
I have a follow-up question, if you don't mind. How are you indexing token prices? Like, are you using like CoinGecko? Are you using like most volumes in certain pools, or how are you measuring your risk against like? How are you benchmarking that risk?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. So, first one, with Circular, we don't use any third party. So all the data we have and we provide is because we got it on chain. For this answer, like it's really interesting because so we have a paper made by Jupiter in the past to have like a global price of a token. It's not like 100% fiable. I mean, because it's in the blockchain, so everything can be, of course, different. But I mean, like we use, so I can explain really easily, like the way how we deduct some price of token. We will like make, so we take like the most famous liquidity pool on the market for this token. And after, we try to make some cut in the liquidity pool with a lot of different volume. So, for example, we will try with 1 cent, 10 cents, $1, $100, $1,000, and more. And after, we deduct like a score to the token, and that's all. Like we have like trusted tokens in the dashboard in general. And so we deduct the price like this. We take a currency by default, USDC, because it's the native one in Solana. USDC is native. Everyone uses USDC in Solana. And so we take USDC, we take Sol, we compare like, and we get the price of the Sol. And after, we can try to find the right price of a token from the liquidity pool.
Great answer. People are cheering for you.
Thank you, Ben. Very nice. Obviously, the arbitrage has been born in the traditional finance, as you mentioned. And then they moved to bot system because it's possible to do differently. They face with the same issue in terms of distance between where the bots or the server are based and where the transaction happens, which are the main difference between the traditional finance arbitrage and this arbitrage in DeFi. Secondly, if it involves as well the same issue that you mentioned about the circular arbitrage involving not just the premises but even the liquidity pools. And then if you've been inspired from a traditional finance company that made more or less the similar service that you are doing. Thank you.
Yep. So really interesting. The big and huge difference between like the traditional market and the blockchain for me is the slippage. So mathematically, we can define like a transaction is 100% profitable. It's not possible like in traditional market. For me, that's the huge difference, and that's why you have kind of a revolution in arbitrage since the blockchain, because we can send the transaction to the blockchain and know exactly it will be profitable. In case of it's not profitable, the transaction will fail, and so it's not executed. And you get back your token, and nothing happened in the transaction. Of course, you will pay the fees, the gas fees that I mentioned before. On Solana, it's really, really cheap. I mean, you can send your transaction for 5,000 lampo. 5,000 lampo, it's like a fraction of cents. It's nothing. So that's the concept, and that's the huge difference. For me, it's the slippage and the mathematics behind the liquidity pool.
Okay, I am going to read up one of the questions that we got from Bucharest. Okay, get ready. It's a long question.
Really.
You are mentioning arbitrage between exchanges, but wouldn't the price mismatch also be caused by an exchange-related liquidity risk? Basically, you are bearing a certain risk, but it is not defined. How does the risk relate to the exchange impacts arbitrage activity?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's why I make a more focus on liquidity pool, but because it's more my domains, liquidity pool. But yeah, it's absolutely true. Like, it's not all crypto arbitrage is like free risk. I mean, like the liquidity pool, you are sure to not lose tokens, for sure. But if you make an arbitrage transaction across like few centralized exchange, like I mentioned before, you buy a token on Binance and you want to try to sell it on Coinbase instantly, you can lose money because it's really similar. This technique and this method is really similar to the traditional one. Exactly the same as a broker or something. You can be not the fast. You need to be as an arbiter the fastest as possible. If you are not the fastest, you lose the opportunity, and your competitor takes this opportunity.
I am sure the people from Bucharest are going to crunch the numbers on this one. Next question here.
Hello. So you didn't really explain what happens to your platform, right? I mean, you see an arbitrage opportunity, you click, and with your fund, you do the arbitrage. So if you can explain a bit this. And the second question is, how do you interface on Solana chain with the centralized exchange? And the third is, how do you profit for this? There is a fee on the transaction or something?
Yep. I don't want it to be like full focus on circular today. I wanted to give like a more global approach of arbitrage. We don't do arbitrage with circular. We provide some tools for making arbitrage. So on the platform, you can't do arbitrage, but you can if you already do arbitrage on chain. So we don't take care about the centralized exchange. We take care only about the liquidity pools and the arbitrage in Solana. And with this idea, if you already run a bot in Solana, you can come to Circular, connect your wallet, or just providing like the public key, and we start to track your wallet and giving you some insight about your wallet, about your profit, your gain, your all transaction, because we deduce a lot of statistics from that. And also you can compare your wallet and your strategy to other competitors, because we track all wallets of arbitrage in Solana.
So you only give intelligence for this?
We only give insight, statistics, and we provide some API in real time of the markets to be as fastest as possible and like in correlation with the market in real time.
And only for liquidity pool, not centralized exchange.
Exactly.
Okay. And what billing model do you have? Do you have a fee? Do you have a recurring? How do people pay for the service?
So we have subscription. So as I mentioned before, we run the infrastructure with our customer. The customer pay a subscription, and this subscription allow the user to interact with our API. So for example, the trending token is a subscription API, but also like the market cash. I mean, like we listen the new created liquidity pool, and we provide it to our customers. So for example, if you track a new token, you want to make arbitrage on a new token just appear in the market, like maybe 10 minutes ago, we already have this data, and we provide you like, okay, you want to arbitrage this token, no worries, you can use this and this and this liquidity pool to make your arbitrage. So we provide this type of data. Also, we have like a fast is our transfer pipeline. So basically, Solana sometimes have congestion in the network. With fast, you're less impacted, really less impacted, even not, by the congestion. Why? Because we have some staked node to provide you the best experience. I mean, like when you send a transaction to the network on Solana, you have different tunnel to send your transaction on the network. And we use the most optimize it as possible. And with our node, like we have some node and we use like, so basically in Solana, if you stake your Solana in a node, you have a dedicated tunnel to the leader. So to the validator validates the current block. And we use this connection we have to like be as fast as efficient possible in the transaction. So user find an opportunity, build his transaction, send the transaction to us, and we provide we push like as fast as possible the transaction in the network against some fees.
Are there any last questions left? Because otherwise we are going to wrap it up. I want you to know that Benjamin is in the crypto space since 2016.
Yeah.
And this was his first presentation in English. Well done. Thank you very much, Benjamin. We are going to be here again next week talking about DeFi and how to tokenize the economy. It's about stable coins and stable yields. There's going to be a project that has been tokenizing precious gemstones since 2018 in Malta. So I hope to see you again next week. We are going to hang around at the bar and see you there. Also you, Benjamin. Thank you very much.